everyone, and welcome to day 13 of SQUATCHMAS. I do hope you're enjoying the content. Today we will be looking at a letter, or rather a summary of what Rene Dahinden, the very well-known Sasquatch researcher from Canada, what he observed back in December of 1969 near Bossburg, Washington. As I've said before, Rene was not a English first language speaker, so there will be some mistakes in his summary, and I will do my best to correct those. It's my understanding that Rene was already in the area, staying on or near Ivan Marx's property, when some interesting and highly controversial footprints in the snow were found. These footprints became known as the Bossburg Cripplefoot prints. Let's get right into it with Rene's summary of what he observed. Bossburg, December 13th, 1969, Saturday. Track sighting. Amount of tracks by count, 1,089. Length of track left foot, 17.5 inches by 6.5 ball, 5.25 heel, is what I think it says. Length of track right foot, 16.5 inches by 7-inch ball and 5.5 heel. Right foot deformed, third toe missing, little toe sticking out at sharp angle, whole foot curved outward, 2 bumps at outside of foot, slight impression where missing third toe was. We found tracks about 11 o'clock, slight rain, in about 3 to 4 inches of snow. They came up a 150 to 200 foot bank, 30 to 40 degree angle, a few trees, up to a bench over to the railroad tracks, along tracks, and where the tracks crossed the tracks went over the road and toward the mountains. Bush. The track crossed a 43-inch high barbed wire fence into a clump of trees, where we found a pressed down area about the size 4 feet by 5 feet. The ground was pine needles, long, and a few small sticks and brush. Something along like alpine. I'm not sure what that word is. If you can figure it out, please put it in the comments. From there, the tracks went up a slight grade among some bare bushes, then back again. In this area were one hell of a lot of tracks, and we were not quite sure what went on. In this place we found where something urinated, found 2 tracks close together right there. If the tracks are real, this thing did it. Snow discolored around. Hole of urine did not go all the way through snow. From here the tracks went down to the fence again, about 50 feet from first place crossing. Crossed over and went about 30 feet away from fence. Turned around and crossed fence again and went back to the area where all the other tracks were. Anyway, we followed the tracks along a deer or cattle trail along inside the fenced off area for a while. Then the tracks crossed over the fence again about 500 feet from the last crossing. They went along the fence for a while and through some thick brush and angled toward the road, I think, and crossed over and down the other side, through some brush and open spots and over the railroad tracks toward the river. They came out by the river. There was a very steep bank. You could see where it was standing. The tracks then went along the river about 20 feet away from the bank. Then toward the bank, there was a tree. The tracks went up to there and down. The slope was bare and ice and had snow on it. A small limp branch was broke off. Down the bank was a curved trail, like somebody would make skiing down. This trail was hard pressed and iced up. We did not think whatever made this trail was sliding down, not sitting down, but used the feet like skis. Along the river bank was some loose gravel, and it made a 3 to 4 inch groove in it, but stopped about 3 feet away from it. I mean, the groove stopped about that far away from the water. There was a rocky band along the shore, loose. The rocks are about 6 inches through and slippery, hard to get footing. We think it dove into the water from there. This was about 100 feet downriver from where the tracks came up. Tracks were also found about a mile upriver, out across from there, by a highway border patrolman. When we got there, they were badly washed out by rain. By the last fence crossing, we found 8 hares, which were thick and heavy and black. 2 were about 3 inches long and the rest shorter, and broken off. They are now in Edmonton, 3 of them, and are examined there. For other details, see the newspaper. I think you can get a good report from this letter and the paper for the bulletin. He's referring to the Bigfoot bulletin put out by George Haas. I made a damn bad mistake in not collecting the urine, but we were so busy filming and looking at the tracks, and we did not have anything to put it in, so I lost it. I sure regret it. This is the first time I have seen tracks in snow, and I must say, these were the most impressive set of tracks I have ever seen. We covered up some of them, and they are still all iced up even today, a week after, which makes me think there was a lot of weight involved when these tracks were made. The Border Patrol, Highway Patrol, and the Sheriff from Northport was there, and were very impressed. The length of stride was from 43 to 57 inches, but many were shorter. We also found lots of piles of snow with toe impressions in it. It seems the damp snow piled up on its foot and it kicked this off. There were pine needles in the snow. The tracks were so hard in the snow, we made plaster casts of the tracks in snow. We were patrolling the same area the day before and there were no tracks there, so we feel that they were made from Friday to Saturday. I think this is about all from this track find. The paper is correct in everything, so you can quote from there if you need anything more. We were hoping these tracks to head into the hills, and this would have made it possible to follow some over a longer distance. The more tracks one sees, the better. I think these tracks to have been made by a Sasquatch, but you know how I feel about Sasquatch. One just never knows. I looked at this line of tracks 7 times and did not find any indication of fake. Also, I have seen toe movements, or what I think were toe movements. The tracks, or Sasquatch, went over the same fence 4 times, and it is not lower than 43 inches on any place, and very high or tight. These tracks indicated the thing did not just step over, but we found where both feet were close to the fence, and on the other side, 1 footprint, and from there the trail went on. So I think it just pushed the fence down a little and lifted 1 foot over sideways like we did. So I think this is all for this time, and as I said before, these were the best set I have ever seen and made one hell of an impression on me. Sure hope Roger will come up here in January. All the best to you for the new year, and hope we going to catch this hairy bastard. Rene. If I turn the first page sideways, there's also a handwritten note from Rene that says, "Thank you for your letter, which I got today," and presumably that was from George Haas, another researcher. This was a letter or summary that Rene sent to George Haas to have included in his newsletter called Bigfoot Bulletin. That newsletter, like the others I've featured, went out to various members monthly. If you're not familiar with what Rene is discussing here, I strongly urge you to do a bit of research. Google Bossburg Cripplefoot and look at the prints. Read the story, the background on it, the subsequent follow-up, and make your own determination. Without question, the Bossburg Cripplefoot prints are highly contentious, highly controversial. Some believe them to be outright fakes. Others believe them to be true, bona fide, legit Sasquatch footprints in snow. Only you can be the judge. I think I'll probably just leave it at that and let the viewer/listener make up their own mind. I hope you enjoyed that. Stay tuned, more stuff is coming. Thanks for watching.
Please support this channel by subscribing and leaving comments. Stay well, stay safe. Here's wishing each and every one of you a wonderful holiday season. Merry Christmas, everyone!